Welcome in to Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. Go to oddshark.com for all of your gambling and informational related needs. Also want to tell you a couple of other additional things that I want to hit here off the jump before we get into all of the official talk of all of the ridiculousness. I've got some fun, angry DMs that I'll read to you guys. But first, I want to tell you, what do I need to tell you about? I want to tell you all about my friends at Alumni Hall, and in particular, they will take care of you, and I guarantee, in fact, I got to find that. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get the ad, and I will tell you. But the important thing is, if you go to Alumni Hall right now, you get 10% off and free shipping if you use the code OUTKICK. And right now, they are a proud sponsor of Outkick, and they have the best selection of top brands like Nike, Under Armour, Columbia, and more. You get everything you need for you and your entire game day crew. This is all the college gear you could possibly need, plus 10% off and free shipping if you go to alumnihall.com right now and put in the code OUTKICK. Also, on top of that, we continue to be overloaded with ads here. Lots of people want to get involved with Outkick. I appreciate that. You want to have your ads appear on this show in the future, you can email me, claytravis@gmail.com, and I'll tell you whether or not I'm willing to do your ads. It's time for the fall. Pumpkin spice latte, scented candles, the works. Now's the time for the perfect woman who probably hates you because you're not paying enough attention to her during football season. It's time for a fresh bouquet in fall colors. This bouquet can get you out of the doghouse if you're doing a bad job on Saturday and Sunday, not paying enough attention. Maybe you forgot an anniversary. Maybe you just know that you're going to get in trouble at some time in the near future. Pro Flowers has the perfect gift for anybody excited about the fall. They have a cinnamon cider rose. They're a great option for the birthday and anniversary, any fall occasion, or go with one of the classics like 100 autumn blooms or a dozen autumn roses. And you can't lose because no matter what bouquet you send, you get 20% off any Pro Flower unique bouquet of $29 or more. All you have to do, again, guaranteed to stay fresh for at least 7 days. To get 20% off all bouquets of $29 or more, go to proflowers.com. Use the code OUTKICK, proflowers.com. Use the code OUTKICK. That's proflowers.com and the code OUTKICK. Get out of trouble before you actually get in trouble. Okay, these quotes are unbelievable. Going to hit several different things. I'm wearing my MSESPN shirt, perfect for today's show. I want to tell you about this right now. Did you guys see these quotes from Disney CEO Bob Iger? I saw this and I was like, there's no way this can possibly be real. Disney CEO said he decided not to suspend Jemele Hill because, and I'm not making this up, Donald Trump hurt her feelings. This is a real answer from the real CEO of Disney, Bob Iger. By the way, Bob Iger has one of his top pinned tweets, a negative attack against me, saying that I am a loser. Bob Iger, you are the real fucking loser, all right? Here are his quotes. These are real quotes. When asked why he did not suspend Jemele Hill, he said, first of all, that he got involved in this decision. This wasn't even a John Skipper decision at ESPN. This was the president of all of Disney, Bob Iger. He said, I felt we had to take context into account. These are direct quotes that I am reading from him. He didn't say, all right, I'm going to explain it a little bit. Context included what was going on in America, what I felt, what we felt, was that there were a lot of people who were outraged, particularly black people. They felt the promise that was given to them, liberty and justice for all, during the Civil War or the Civil Rights Movement were theirs. What they've seen in the last couple of months is the opposite. Bob Iger saying that the rights given to black people in the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement are now under attack. This is a real quote from the actual CEO of Disney, Bob Iger. It's not only disappointing, it's angered them. I've never experienced prejudice, certainly not racism. It's hard for me to understand what it feels like to experience racism. We need to take into account what Jemele and ESPN were feeling during this time. This is really fucking real life. ESPN allowed Jemele Hill to call the president a white supremacist. They allowed Jemele Hill to say that the president had surrounded himself with white supremacists. They allowed Jemele Hill to say that the only reason Donald Trump got elected president was because he was white and because the people who voted for him were racist. And the reason that Bob Iger did not suspend or fire her, despite suspending and or firing Kurt Schilling and Linda Cohn for political comments they disagreed with, was because we need to take into account what Jemele and ESPN were feeling during this time. Can you guys believe it? These are not my made-up quotes. This is not me making allegations up about Bob Iger or MSESPN. These are direct quotes. Bob Iger says that black people feel like Donald Trump is attacking their civil rights, their right to vote, their right to have a job, their right to get paid, all of that under attack from Donald Trump, according to Bob Iger, and that the reason why Jemele Hill can say that the president is a white supremacist, that he is surrounded by mostly white supremacists, and that all of his voters, by and large, were white supremacists as well, and everybody was racist, is because we need to take into account what Jemele and ESPN were feeling during this time. Guys, girls, can you believe that Bob Iger said these things? Credit to him for just coming right out and proving everything that I've ever said about ESPN. He said, basically, we are a left-wing sports organization. I'm going to allow my left-wing employees to say whatever they want because he legitimately believes, or at least he's willing to say this. Again, he's going to run for president. What people say, what's Bob Iger doing here? What's his goal? By the way, how awesome is this cup? What's his goal here? The goal is clear. The goal is that Bob Iger is going to run for president. He made it straightforward. He joked about running for president. He's leaving Disney in July of 2019, right in time to run for president. What's funny about this is all the left-wing sports media, like The Ringer, Bill Simmons' site, they took shots at me. They wrote big articles. Oh, Clay Travis is totally making this up. There's no way Bob Iger is going to run for president. No, he's sending a message here by trying to be as left-wing as he possibly can that he is going to run for president of the United States. And the way he's going to run for president of the United States is he's going to cite ESPN as his evidence of that. Now, this guy is a total fraud, all right? I went, go look at Bob Iger's Twitter follows. Bob Iger follows the undefeated. Try harder as a 60-year-old white dude to try and prove how inclusive you are than to follow the fucking undefeated on Twitter. He only follows like 50 things on Twitter. One of them is the undefeated. You think a mid-60s-year-old white dude out in LA who's worth $300 million is like, you know what? I really want to know what the undefeated, which nobody fucking reads, that nobody cares about, at ESPN.com, literally no matter how much they throw that swill in front of people, they don't read it. This motherfucker's following the undefeated on Twitter. One moment I saw that he was following the undefeated on Twitter, I said, this dude's the biggest fraud in media right now. He's going to run for president, and he's going to try to run as an inclusive billionaire against Donald Trump. Other thing you should know about Bob Iger. He recently, again, these are real quotes, he said on Twitter he favorited. He's only favorited 3 things in the last month. One of those 3 things is Jemele Hill's comment about Clay Travis. I would just like to know if he can generate any kind of traffic without ESPN's name in his mouth. Actually, yes. I can fucking dominate no matter what I talk about. But, so that you ask, in September, little info for you out there. I believe I'm the first person to ever pull this off. We had over 1 million listeners in September on the radio. We had over 1 million viewers on Facebook Live and Periscope. We had over 1 million podcast downloads. We had over 1 million readers on Outkick. And we had millions of readers on TV, or millions of viewers on TV. I'm not sure in the history of American sports media, honestly, that there has ever been anybody pull all 5 of those things off in the same month. Let me repeat what we had. Over 1 million viewers on this Facebook and Periscope live show. Over 1 million podcast downloads. over 1 million weekly and monthly listeners on the 250 AM FM radio stations, over 1 million readers unique on Outkick the Coverage, and one more, over 1 million easily TV viewers. That's a fivesome, all right? I don't think anybody in the history of sports media has ever pulled off having over 1 million viewers on all of that. I'm the king of sports media. There's nobody else, I don't believe, in the history that have ever pulled that off. You guys tell me if you can think of anybody else who would have pulled off a fivesome there, all right? Pulled off a fivesome. Pulled off over 1 million radio listeners, over 1 million podcast downloads, over 1 million Facebook Live and Periscope viewers, over 1 million readers, and another million somewhere, over 1 million TV viewers. I don't think anybody has ever pulled that off in the history of sports media. And I'm not sure there's anybody even close. Jim Rome, get the fuck out of here. He doesn't write. What does Jim Rome write? Simmons hasn't ever pulled it off. Simmons hasn't ever pulled it off. He's never had a radio show that had 1 million listeners. Never. Nobody. 5 times, motherfucker. And so that's my answer to the criticism there. Get out of here. A fivesome, motherfuckers. You want to know how I'm doing? The answer is really fucking good. But I do think this is alarming. Because the standard that Bob Iger has set forth here is, if your feelings are hurt, you can say anything and facts don't matter. That's effectively what he said here in these comments, which are flat out unbelievable. I mean, I read these and I said, my God, there's no way that the world is so upside down that the CEO of Disney is writing this stuff. Again, if you're just tuning in, the CEO of Disney said that Jemele Hill could call the president a white supremacist. He said she could say that everybody who surrounds him is a white supremacist too, and that all of his voters are racist, and that the only reason he got elected, he was white, because, and I quote directly from Bob Iger, the reason why she could say that, we need to take into account what Jemele and ESPN were feeling during this time. By the way, that's an important quote too. We need to take into account what Jemele and ESPN. What did I tell you? They're a left-wing sports network. They allow their own bias to carry through on everything. I can't believe it. You shouldn't be surprised, though, because I've been talking about it. I'm just surprised that Bob Iger was so straightforward and direct about this. He is a fraud. You can watch that interview. I'd encourage you to go read that article at Outkick. I'm pulling his actual quotes out. He also said, again, that black people believe Donald Trump is taking away their civil rights, which is an incredible allegation that no CEO should be able to make. I can't believe Bob Iger would even attempt to make these comments. He did. He thinks he can get away with it. He is a total lying loser. And he's going to run for president, and he's going to use ESPN as the window. Now here, 2 other things. If the context and feelings of Jemele Hill matter, why don't the context and feelings of Curt Schilling and Linda Cohn matter? Remember, Curt Schilling was fired for saying he disagreed with the North Carolina transgender bathroom bill. Well, you might disagree with the North Carolina transgender bathroom bill. I don't particularly fucking care where people go piss and poop. That's not a big issue of mine. But if Curt Schilling legitimately believes that the North Carolina bathroom bill is a bad move, why should he not be able to say that in his own private time, just like Jemele Hill was allowed to say this about the president? Which one is more offensive? There's no difficulty at all, right? Here's the other question. Why was Linda Cohn suspended for saying that she believed one of the reasons why ESPN's ratings were going down was because they were focused too much on politics and they had forgotten about their base? That's indisputably true. And basically the president of ESPN himself has said that. All of those questions. All right, what questions do you guys have about Bob Iger, about the story that's up right now? I'll now respond to this. Again, I'm Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show. Thank you for watching. Please share it with your friends. Robert Lee also never had a choice. Yeah, he got kicked off of the game that he was going to call. Trump is a bigot. No, he's not. Just lazy. I'm going to have to block this motherfucker. Like, I don't care what your opinion is, but if you're lazy and dumb, I just think that's not smart, and I have to go ahead and block you. I'll get to other questions later. I'm just talking about this particular situation with Iger. Yeah, I still think Bob Iger is going to run in 2020. I think he's going to run for president. I don't think there's any doubt at all. I think for sure. Yeah, he's going to run as the inclusive billionaire. I don't think there's any doubt. Can Iger win? Who knows? I hope not. I hope we're not going to elect some pussy as president, but who knows? Who knows what's actually going to happen? All right, again, lots of questions about other things. I'm asking for questions about the Bob Iger situation. All right, that's the truth. Okay, could he get nominated? Maybe. I don't know. I think maybe the Democrats understand that the only way they can win the election right now is by having a black guy. Honestly. I mean, Hillary Clinton would have won if she were a black woman. Because black people didn't show up to vote for Hillary Clinton like they showed up to vote for Barack Obama. Evidently, it's racist to point out that a lot of black people did not show up to vote for Hillary Clinton because she's white. But it's definitely not racist to point out that some people voted for Donald Trump because he was white. It's only racism if white guys do it. Everybody knows that. That's the rules. Come on, keep up. Only white guys can be racist in this country. That's the truth. And the truth is this. If the black people had shown up in the same numbers to vote for Hillary Clinton as they voted for Barack Obama, she would have gotten elected president. And that's why I think Democrats are trying to stoke racial antagonism right now, because they understand that the only way they win elections is if angry black people show up to vote against Republicans. Remember, Donald Trump flipped a lot of voters. Donald Trump got more minority voters than Mitt Romney did. There were millions of people out there that flipped from voting for Barack Obama to Donald Trump. That happened. That's how he won the Midwest. That's how he won Pennsylvania. That's how he won Michigan. That's how he won Wisconsin. So if you think those guys suddenly became racist in the 4 years between 2012 and 2016, then that's on you, right? You're telling on yourself. The reality is Hillary Clinton was not a very good candidate. She didn't motivate her base to turn out in the same way. Maybe they didn't turn out because she's white and they wanted to show up to vote for a black person. But the reason why Donald Trump won the Midwest, why he won Pennsylvania, why he won Wisconsin, and why he won Michigan, why he flipped those 3 states in addition to winning Ohio and almost winning Minnesota, was because he managed to convince white voters in the Midwest to flip from Barack Obama in 2012 to Donald Trump in 2016. All right? That's the truth. Democrats makes them uncomfortable to hear, but it wasn't racism that got Donald Trump elected. It was the flip there. All right, gambling picks. Haven't been on a good run. Haven't been on a good run at all in gambling, but I am now going to make all of you rich because I'm just about to get back on my roll. I'm about to get my swag back on. I'm about to get rolling again, as the kids like to say. I got to tell you, my gambling picks for week 6. Here we go. I'm going 10-0. Get your pen and paper ready. Get your pen and paper ready. And I will tell you right now. By the way, before I get going on this, tomorrow night, I'm not going to do a show tomorrow, I don't think, unless we have some really crazy news. I'm doing a live Outkick show at Zany's in Nashville. Downtown Nashville, basically. I'm going to be on at 7:30. We're doing a live show. We have almost sold out Zany's. Just a couple of tickets left. If you are a VIP member and you want a ticket, you need to go into the VIP and sign up in the message board so that you know you can get a ticket, all right? So 7:30 tomorrow Central Time. Friday, I'm going to be in St. Louis. If you are a follower in St. Louis, then we're going to have an event in St. Louis on Friday. And if you're a follower in Birmingham, a VIP, we're going to have an event in Birmingham, Alabama on Monday. I'm traveling quite a bit over the next several days so that you guys know that, all right? Here we go. Here are the picks. Penn State at Northwestern. Northwestern is now plus 14.5. I'm telling you guys, Pat Fitzgerald is 3-0 against James Franklin. Northwestern is at home. I like Northwestern covering here. I think that Penn State's going to have a challenge with them. Maryland plus 31 at Ohio State. One of the great under-discussed coaches in America right now is DJ Durkin. His team has gone on the road and won his double digits against Texas. They've gone on the road and won his double digits against Minnesota. And now they're 31-point underdogs against Ohio State. I would encourage you to go vote on them, to go get your money in right now. I'm telling you, Maryland plus 31 at Ohio State. Arkansas at South Carolina. The under 51. This game keeps coming down. I'm telling you right now, under 51. The last 4 South Carolina games have posted totals of 44, 36, 33, and 41. I got this at 51. The line now, I believe, is down to like 49. Get it. And also, I'm going to tell you, get this one too. Washington State, I got it at -1. They're now about 2.5-point favorites over Oregon. Oregon is starting a walk-on, never played before freshman. I'm telling you, Luke Falk and Washington State are going to run all over Oregon. Oregon's offense is not going to be able to make up. Motherfucker's dead. Say lots of things, all right? You can say lots of things. If I see you not respecting the picks, you're dead. All right? One of the values of pulling off a fivesome, right? Getting 1 million people on Periscope and Facebook, getting 1 million people on radio, getting 1 million people on the website, getting 1 million people, over 1 million people on TV, and getting 1 million people on the podcast is you respect the picks. And you know what? Any individual motherfucker doesn't matter to me anymore. I wipe you out. You can buy this shirt at Outkick.com. Go to Outkick Gear, and you'll be able to do it. Respect the picks, boys and girls. If I see you not doing it, you're fucking out of here. I pulled off a fivesome, all right? Respect the fivesome. Respect the handful of badassness that I pulled off in September, something that's never been done before in the history of sports media. There's a never before. I'm the king of sports media. Used to just be the king of the South. Now I'm the king of the sports media. Never been done before. I pulled off the fivesome. Put some respect on my name, bitches. All right? Going through the picks. Georgia at Vanderbilt. I'm going Georgia minus 17.5. I got it in for you in the VIP at 14. And I'm going on the over. I actually think that Georgia is going to obliterate Vanderbilt. Georgia is on a roll, and Vanderbilt is playing its 4th straight tough game. Kansas State, Alabama, Florida, now Georgia. I think that Vandy is going to take it on the chin from Georgia. I like the over. I think the Bulldogs are going to score quite a bit. And I like Georgia minus 17.5. LSU at Florida. By the way, first of the blood bank guarantees, Georgia covers against Vanderbilt. Second of the blood bank guarantees. All right, second of the blood bank guarantees, Florida minus 3 over LSU. The under 47, the line keeps coming down because now they're talking about another hurricane coming in. Tropical storm by the time it gets to Florida. Bad weather, likely going to impact this game before all is said and done. Double blood bank guarantee. Hit the veins, boys and girls. Hit the veins. I'm giving you a double dose today to make up for the one we lost last week. Florida, right in the veins. Florida over LSU. And the other blood bank guarantee, boys and girls, Georgia crushing Vanderbilt. Ole Miss at Auburn. Auburn's on a roll. Auburn is on a different caliber. I gave you last week Bama crushing Ole Miss. This week I'm giving you Auburn crushing Ole Miss. Auburn minus 21. Bama minus 22. I gave it to you. It's all the way out to 26.5 against Texas A&M. That, boys and girls, is 10 guaranteed winners designed to make you a lot of money. Now let's have a little bit of fun, and then I'll do a rapid-fire response and answer a couple of your questions. This is a fantastic story. Let me see if I can make sure that I find it. Wisconsin. We go to Wisconsin. This is courtesy of the Smoking Gun. A pair of naked Wisconsinites repeatedly ignored a cop's demands. They cease having sex in the backseat of a parked car, a brush-off that resulted in their arrest for engaging in lewd and lascivious conduct. According to police, around 3:25 a.m., there was a suspected prowler reported in a back alley. Instead, when the officer arrived, the resident said she was awoken by the sound of 2 individuals having sex inside a car parked in front of her residence. The police officer walked up. The windows were partially fogged. It was rocking back and forth. The cop illuminated the car's interior with his flashlight, confirmed they were naked and engaging in sexual intercourse. He told the couple, this was a 21-year-old dude and a 20-year-old girl, to cease having sex and get dressed. And, quote, at that point, I walked to the rear of the vehicle in order to give the 2 subjects some privacy while getting dressed. 5 minutes passed and the duo still had not gotten out. The officer shone his flashlight back into the car, and they had begun having sex again. He again directed the couple to get dressed, and the man, the 21-year-old dude in the car, said, no, I'm trying to fuck. He's told that he has to get out of the car. He responds to the police officer, no, I'm trying to fuck. The cop opened the car's door and again instructed them to get out. And again, they tried to shut the door, told him to go away. And the dude finally got out of the car and accused the officer of cock blocking him. Bold move by the drunk dude having sex in his car. He gets out of the car, tells the officer that he's trying to cock block him, and blames him for, quote, giving him blue balls. He then says, you're a man, you should understand, it's Oktoberfest weekend. Unbelievable quotes from this 21-year-old dude who's having sex in the car. As the guy argued with the police officer, he ignored the cop's directions to get dressed. with his underwear in hand. The dude responded, "It's just a dick, nothing to be afraid of." I mean, these are epic quotes. These are unbelievable quotes. Again, this is from The Smoking Gun. They were hit with disorderly conduct. When the woman finally got out of the car and asked why they didn't stop having sex, the woman responded, "He wanted to finish." I don't know about you, but this dude's name is, let's see. This dude's name is, hold on. Oh, by the way, they were also in a gold Pontiac Grand Am. If you're just listening to this car, if you're just listening to this story, this couple were having sex in a gold Pontiac, there's a panty dropper, a gold Pontiac Grand Am at 3:25 in the morning. This dude, Bailey Putt-Kimmery, 21 years old, is caught having sex, and he tells the cop, "No, I'm trying to fuck." He later says, "Why are you cock blocking me?" and accuses the cop of giving him blue balls. And then he says, "You're a man. You should understand. It's Oktoberfest weekend." When he's told to get dressed, he says, "It's just a dick, nothing to be afraid of." It's just a dick, nothing to be afraid of. One of the greatest quotes of all time. I mean, to be drunk and talking to the cop and have that quote. I don't know how the cop wrote this in and didn't end up with like dying of laughter. I'll put these quotes up on The Smoking Gun. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. But remember, whatever you're doing, it's just a dick, nothing to be afraid of. That's a line for you to try out there next time you're naked. Next time your wife won't have sex with you tonight, I'm going to try to get my wife to have sex with me. She's probably going to say no. I'm going to say, "Babe, it's just a dick, nothing to be afraid of." And then I'm going to go to bed by myself. All right, that is the show. Go to Oddshark for all your gambling and informational related needs. And that dude should be the next coach at Tennessee is an incredible line. All right, questions. I'll do some rapid fire here for the next couple of minutes. Anything that you want to ask me. We talked about Bob Iger being a pussy. We talked about Jemele Hill's feelings being hurt and how that's the new standard for whatever you want to say at ESPN. And we talked about my gambling picks, which are going 10-0 and going to make you all rich. Katie Nolan, good luck to her at ESPN. I mean, you know, I know Katie well. She obviously has had some success. Good luck to her. I think that she'll probably quickly hate working at ESPN because they're pussies, but the bosses are pussies, but good luck to her. The lawsuit, the Kentucky Sports Radio lawsuit, I'm not a lawsuit guy. Like, I think that's probably a frivolous lawsuit. I don't think they can necessarily recover. At the same time, I do think Kentucky fans took it to an uncomfortable level when they went public with that official. They lost the game not because of the officiating. I think when media members, and it wasn't just Kentucky Sports Radio, I think when media members encourage their fan base to go after officials because of a loss, it's a really bad precedent to set. And I thought the guys calling the game for Kentucky made it a bad deal. I thought John Calipari, specifically referencing the officiating in his post-game press conference, gave that fuel as well. I don't buy into the idea that there are a lot of referees out there trying to get guys to lose, right? I think they do their best job that they can. Sometimes they make mistakes. I think giving their public information out is a really bad precedent to set. It's hard enough to find good referees already. These guys are making a scintilla of the money that the coaches are. There are lots of reasons other than officiating to blame somebody for why they ended up losing. I'm not surprised that a lot of ESPN people are defending Michael Bennett. He's a total liar. He's a race-hustling fraud. But a lot of ESPN people fit that description as well. Lying, race-hustling frauds. So I'm not surprised that a lot of ESPN employees would be defending Michael Bennett. Props to Ryan Russillo and Will Cain for not being pussies and being able to actually tell the truth. I would encourage you guys to go listen to the Outkick podcast if you want that story as well. I got my 10 picks. I think that Michigan will beat Michigan State. What's the name of Michael Bennett's book? It's something about things that white people don't want to hear. I mean, the guy's a fraudulent, race-baiting liar. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt at all. Why haven't they been fired yet? I think the better question is, why hasn't Michael Bennett been disciplined? Why haven't the Seahawks apologized to the Las Vegas police? And why haven't they responded as well, the NFL, to apologize to the Las Vegas police? Remember, we got 2 Hispanic guys and a black guy who were the 3 police officers. Go to Outkick and you can watch their actual interaction with Michael Bennett. They're total liars. everybody who criticized the Las Vegas Police Department, maybe even more so. I agree. Pete Carroll needs to apologize. The NFL needs to apologize. Michael Bennett needs to apologize. I think if you look at the comparison, let's say between Ezekiel Elliott getting 6 games, I think Michael Bennett should be suspended for this. I don't think there's any doubt. But go read my article at Outkick. I've talked about it a ton, and you will definitely enjoy it. All right, so remember, tomorrow I'll do a show live in person. Come hang out with me at Zany's in Nashville. Friday I'll be in St. Louis. We'll be able to hang out if you're from St. Louis. And for Monday I will be in Birmingham. We'll be able to hang out there as well. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. Remember, all that matters now at ESPN, or MSESPN as I call them, is your feelings. Go get your MSESPN shirts. Bob Iger's a pussy, and so are all of his employees that can't handle Donald Trump having opinions that are different than their own. I love you, all of you. DBAP, I'm Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show.